ninjas, I'm Kaio. In this tutorial I'm going to teach you 3 ways to improve your combos. If you will need more help for your breaking, check out my Patreon, link in the description. This tutorial will be not so practical but more theoretical. You have to try and apply by yourself what I'm about to tell you. Because it's very subjective, I can just give you ideas, but then it's up to you taking these ideas and applying by yourself. So I'm gonna talk more and show less. First, a very obvious way to improve your combos is to improve the moves inside the combos. It can be anything. A combo between freezes, a combo between footworks, a combo between power moves, even flips or anything else. Or even a combo like mixing different elements. Let's say that you want to do a helicopter to a windmill, but your helicopter looks very sloppy, I don't know, like this. And you touch with the foot on the floor every time. If the helicopter looks bad, the combo itself will also look bad. Same as your windmill. If your windmill looks bad, also your combo will look bad. Improving the moves that you use in the combos will spontaneously make the combo cleaner. There are still some ways to use moves that you cannot really do in combos and make them look clean. But I already explained this concept in the Christmas series that I made. I will leave the link in the description, how to fake your power moves. In this series I explain how to kind of fake your power moves or how to use some moves in the combos that you cannot do properly. So there are still some ways to do it. But if you feel like your combo doesn't improve anymore, try to improve the moves one by one while you're still practicing the combo. Second way to improve your combos. Try to play with the transition itself. Every time you connect a move with another one, there is a point where you do the transition from one move to the other. For example, in the windmill to flare, you can use the tire freeze or the side freeze to get up to the flare. But if it doesn't look so good, you can also try to make the transition different and don't use the tire freeze anymore or the side freeze anymore, but to just extend your arm like this and to just connect windmill to flare with straight arms directly. The same can be applied in other combos. Let's take as an example the flare to swipe. From one round of flare, there are different ways or different moments in the flare where you can connect the swipe. Most of people usually they do one round of flare when they get to the back. So here they do the swipe kind of like here, facing this direction. But you can try to play with the angle and try to wait longer and get to the swipe when you are in the front of the flare. So you do one full round of flare, when you get to the front, you tap with your foot and you do the swipe. Or maybe you can try to anticipate and when you arrive here, you immediately turn and do the swipe here and not here and not here to the front, for example. So you can play with the angles. I really recommend to film yourself, analyze the combo slowly, look your clips in slow motion, almost frame by frame, and try to find exactly which parts, which moments to improve in the combos. Because maybe you don't need to improve everything, you just need to improve some very small details. Try to find these details. Again, in the windmill to flare could be the position of the freeze, in the flare to swipe could be the moment when you connect swipe from the flare. So in which moment, if here, if on the back, if like on the side or if on the front, you can connect in many different ways, in many different moments. Try to look at your clips, try to analyze them, and try to play with different ideas.
Always remember that the purpose of a tutorial is to give you a general understanding of how a move could be learned. But each move can be mastered in many different ways and there is no perfect tutorial for it. Each person has a different body shape, skills level, strength and flexibility. What could be useful for you could be totally useless for someone else and the other way around. What I try to do with my Patreon is to offer you a clear and customized plan to follow that works for you. If you only rely on tutorials, there is a high chance you're missing some points or doing some extra steps you don't need to do. If you want to have individual feedback, a specific training plan or exclusive content, check out my Patreon link in the description and choose the monthly plan that fits you best. Remember that you can always cancel or change plan.
Third way to improve your combos, try to get creative. You can add variations, you can add more details, you can make them more unique. Again, same example, windmill to flare. You don't have necessarily to do the windmill to flare in the classic way, but you can find a totally different way to connect windmills and flares, for example. You can grab one foot, you can grab the other foot, you can try to go up in a handstand and then go to the flare. So kind of like adding one more detail, one more movement in the transition. You can add a jump, for example, from the windmill you can jump and go to flare. You can try from the windmill, from the back, from here, instead of turning in this way, you try to turn to the right shoulder if you spin clockwise, and try to connect the flare in the other direction. You can add a thread, you can add a slide, add one more freeze, or instead of using the tutter freeze or the side freeze, you can add, if you are very advanced, you can try to use the elbow freeze, for example. It will be very challenging, but you can try. So try to find new ways and new details that you can use in your combos. If you're not so creative and you don't know how to create new combos, new details, just think about first grabbing or holding one foot. This can be used almost in each combo, in each transition. Think about sliding. For example, again, windmill to flare. You can, from the windmill, you can reach the freeze, slide on your shoulder, back to your freeze, and then connect the flare. So adding a slide. Third way, adding a thread. From the windmill, you can do a thread, then go to the freeze, and then go to flare. Something like that. And another way is changing directions. So using the opposite side. For example, if you're spinning clockwise and to connect windmill to flare, you use the right freeze, try to use the other one. So even if you're not creative, I just told you something that you can try and you can try to apply by yourself. If you are advanced, you can even try to mix these ways and put them together to find an even more difficult and creative transition. I always take the windmill to flare as an example, but you can apply in which move you want, which transition you want, even freezes, even footworks, leg works, back rocks, anything. In the windmill to flare, for example, you can try to change side, change direction from the freeze. So instead of going to the right freeze, you go to the left. At the same time, you use a thread, and at the same time you use a jump. It would be very challenging maybe, but if you are advanced you can try. Maybe don't try immediately like to put everything together. Try first different ways to connect the same moves. When you realize you can connect the same two moves like windmill and flares in many different ways, try to create your own ways to do it. A very good exercise for you is taking just two moves. Again, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be power moves. It can be really anything, and try to find as many ways as possible to connect these two moves. By the way, if you're looking for breaking shoes, I recommend these ones by Dizzy. I find them very comfortable and slippery for your leg works, your floor works, your back rocks, even your flares. They are very good. If you want to get them, use my discount link in the description. If you will need more help for your breaking, check out my Patreon link in the description, and see you next time with a new tutorial. Yo ninjas!